Hello everyone! Welcome to round 3 of Challenger League Season 12, and we are back down under for the Australian CPRE here at the Albert Park Street Circuit. I am Corvid as usual, lovely to join you along as we get our qualifying underway. Got 18 drivers ready to go through this quite fast and relatively narrow street circuit, just a few miles from the city centre in Melbourne. Few drivers to look out for. Nake's making his debut here on home soil, of course. Got a few more drivers just filling in for others as we get along just around our first corners, following Himpo through the final sector. He's going to be the first one to put a time, and it's a good time too. He's going to be holding on to provisional pole after a single lap ahead of his teammate in Rams, who was holding on to P2. As we go along back around Lakeside Drive, it's 6Y in P3, followed by Guzman, Jaruni, Matima, Urist, and Goose in P8. So, a lot of time to still shave off. We've got only 2 drivers under that 33-second barrier that we saw several drivers get under for JL, sorry. It's Kiato and 6Y who put in the goods now on that second lap. 6Y now setting the pace with a 32.6 time. That's still, yeah, looked quite a lot faster than the drivers in JL just a few moments earlier were putting in, but we've still got 1 lap to go. Can anyone take that pole position from the Latvian drivers with rounding those last few corners, heading back onto the front straight? I don't think 6Y will improve. Kiato might be able to, Himpo does, Gorlami does, but it's not going to be enough at the end of our running. 6Y will take pole position by just 7 hundredths from Gorlami. A surprise final lap from him puts him on the front row. Himpo and Guzman in 3rd and 4th. Good result for them. Guzman, artist formerly known as Pumpkin, of course, but he'll be hoping to show off some style with the news name, and alongside Kiato as well, who's put it in 5th for Nordic Blizzards. A good result for those two. Jaruni will be lining up on the 3rd row in P6. Behind them, it's tied between Urist and Rams, just under that 33-second barrier, alongside Matima in the Reich Auto in P9. Next, we'll start from P1 actually for the sprint race, because we do have the top 10 flipped around, but it will be P10 for the feature for the Australian. Nickel 09 behind him in P11, then it's Crunk and Bubbles 12th and 13th, Goose in P14, then it's Rusky in 15th, Axperio, and then Ethan and Priya round us off in the on the final row of the grid, of course. So Kiato will be taking a grid drop for the feature race, and Priya will be taking a grid drop for the sprint. And onto the sprint race we go. We've got 11 laps in the wet at Albert Park, and we are off to the races now. Nicolo 9, and next will start us on through turn 1 and turn 2. Matty will make the charge into turn 3, and he takes the lead. Nickel next finding a lot of contact there. There's a bit of roughhousing back in the field, but it looks like most drivers have gotten through just fine. Matty actually finding a bit of trouble going down into Lakeside Drive. It'll be Nakes leading us through the chicane, sorry, but he makes a mistake there. Rams and Matty going through. It's 3 wide entering the final sector of the track. Rams pushing his way through. Nakes also finding his way into the grass as well. It's going to be Matty returning to the lead as they end lap 1. Oh, it's quite tight in the front. Rusky finding some trouble there with Nickel and Urist side by side into turn 3. Urist has the inside, becomes the outside, and then the inside again. They're still side by side. They're biffing each other quite a lot of room, and it was a great little battle there between the 2 drivers. Next falling away from the top 2 here as Urist gets through. So does Nickel, who just straight lines the chicane there, and it's still all to play for. First is right there for the taking. 6Y Himpo. Nickel going super wide. Bubbles getting the real stick of that, running straight into his teammate, and it's all falling apart here right in the back. Rusky, Goose, might be a bit of a rocket here. Goose is in a lot of trouble. He looks like he's gotten out of that position though. Sliding real far back and just outside on the exit of turn 3. And Nickel is driving. A little swerve there from Priya and Experial. We're going to head to front now. It's Rams and Urist actually side by side. Entering turn 11. And Urist has gotten himself through. It's a quite tidy little overtake from the Portuguese driver. But Matimar does have the overspeed on him. He's going to have the inside in turn 1, which comes the outside in turn 2. Rams is going to challenge here as he into turns 3 and 4 and then 5 together. It's still side by side between Urist and Rams. No one is backing off an inch between these top 3, and they've really ran away now. Oh wow, what a brilliant opening few laps here from the top 3. Urist finding his way up. Urist and Rams both finding their way up from the mid positions around 4th, 5th. They started this race, and Matimar, starting 3rd, is now in the lead of the race as we enter lap 5. Impo leading the rest of the pack here. It's 6Y and Nex side by side as they enter turns 1 and 2. It looks like Nex has got the better of that one. He's into P5. He's just following the slipstream of Himpo now, and 6Y just trailing behind him. And it's Rusky and Bubbles behind those two in 7th and 8th, and it's Galormi, Jeru not being able to move too far from their initial positions here in 9th and 10th. Goose trailing behind those two. Then it's Guzman, Kiato, and Nickel fighting some trouble. That is a big slam between Priya and Krunk, not able to find a way through that final, through the second half of that chicane, of course. Axpero getting in the mix here between those two. Priya really finding trouble there on this penultimate corner, and Axpero and Krunk bunching up together at the very back, following alongside them. Let's go back to the front though, because the fight for the lead is still ramping up. Rams now is into the lead, makes a bit of a mess of the exit on that tight turn 10, sorry, so that's the second half of the chicane there. Matimar back into the lead as we enter lap 7 of 11 here at Albert Park. You're still chasing down those two. He's pretty content to follow in their slipstream for the time being. He's holding on to the fastest lap. A 6Y is now chasing the 3 of them. He's sitting in P4. This will be the first race, potentially, that he doesn't take the race win. He's got 4 laps to try and change that outcome, and he is closing on the top 3 as Nex and Himpo are now fighting away for 5th. Nex still in front of the Norwegian driver. A Finnish driver, sorry. Himpo tries to make a move on the inside into turn 1. It's not usually the greatest spot for an overtake, but they are side by side. Himpo has the inside into turn 3, and that's going to be the difference maker there. And Himpo into P5 and is breaking away from the Australian driver. Rusky in P7. It's Bubbles with Jaruni fighting away with Goose now. The Belarusian has the inside into Lakeside Drive. They're entering turn 9 and 10 together. Goose charging away, and Jaruni finding lots of trouble on the exit of the chicane there. He's lost out, and he's getting chased down by the 2 Nordic Lizards who haven't had the greatest start in this race. Kiato and Guzman Kiato, of course, with that grid drop into P10 now. Teammate following behind, and Jaruni falling away to 12th now as Galormi gets in with a shot on those 3 drivers as well. Behind them, Nickel also getting into the festivities as well. Priya, Krunk, and the next Perial are bottom 3 at the moment. It's 6Y actually, who's I've lost a lot of time watching that little battle for the lead, because 6Y is away. Just in the lap and a half, he's completely gapped the 3 drivers who were leading for a majority of this race, and Himpo's actually throwing Urist. So some of the drivers that further back really showing their pace at the moment. Matimar and Rams now fighting away, and the gap has increased monumentally. 6Y has just passed them and absolutely coasted away into the lead. I'm really sad I missed that, because it would have been interesting to see what caused that. It might have been a really rough collision between Matimar, Rams, and Urist, because they've lost a lot of time here. Himpo and Urist going wide at the exit of the chicane once more. That is P4 and P5 for those 2. Nakes holding off Rusky for the time being as we enter the final lap of the race here. Rams now is just under a second away from 6Y, so any major mistake from the Latvian here could cause a lot of trouble, but 6Y has escaped the trouble of being in that P10, being in that middle of the position at the start. He's really ran away and had the pace here to just coast along and avoid any major trouble here. Battling between Rams and Matty really costing them a potential fight for that win here. 6Y rounding the penultimate corner here, and he is going to be a win. It's going to be another win for the Latvian here in Albert Park for the sprint. Rams and Matty will join him on the podium. It's Himpo in 4th, Urist, then it's Next, great result for him. Rusky, Bubbles in P8, great result. And it's Guzman, Kiato holding off Game on Grease to P10. It's Jaruni in 12th, and it's Golomi, Nickel fighting away. Crunk getting past Priya at the final straight last finish. And that'll be all that she wrote. Might have been an incident there between Nickel and Priya at the final lap. I'll see the sorry getting woven up. But all in all, another successful drive for the Lucy Botanica racing driver. He takes it by the skin of his teeth there. Rams really charging him on that final lap, but it was the big collision there that was unseen on the screens we have here. That was the difference maker in that. 6Y able to get past that chasing, getting past the front pack and running away and avoiding any major trouble there. Rams and Matty, good results for them both. Rams with a pretty strong drive. Everything seemed to work out though for him, but it was just a bit too chaotic at the front. They really lost a lot of time with those battles and it ultimately cost them. Matima will be settling for 3rd here. Himpo and Urist 4th and 5th. And Urist really falling away as the pack really started to battle a lot harder, but it'll be a good result for the Bobcat driver. Nakes in P6, great result for his debut sprint race, of course. It's always a lot of help if you're starting at the front row, but he was able to hold on to a top 6 finish. Rusky in 7th, followed by Bubbles, Guziman and Kiato in the top 10. Then it's Goose just peeped off that in 11th, Jaruni in 12th, then it's Golomi, Nicolo 9, Crunk, Priya and Axperio are finishers for today in our sprint race. So, with that out of the way, we've got the feature race coming up in just a few moments, and we'll have to see if 6Y will be 6Y will be starting for pole, and we hopefully we'll see how dominant he can be on this track here. Does have a lot of competition, and that first opening lap can be very treacherous indeed. And we'll also have the strategy to do with as well, so we'll see you when that gets underway. And we are back in the dry, ready for our feature race today. So we'll have to see how the strategy plays out. We've got a few drivers on the hards. It's 29 laps, and we are underway. 6Y leading us off in Albert Park. Golomi on the outside tries to make a move. There's a lot of jostling in the front, but Matimar makes up a ton of positions as we dive into turn 3 for the first time. It's Himpo and Guziman trying to get around him, but it's 6Y leading us away still. Matimar finds some trouble there on turn 7. Urus getting a big shove there with the little bit of a lag rocket. It's Golomi through in the chicane, a 4-way crash, and it's all over the place in the mid-pack here. Both Riker Auto drivers in the grass, and it's Golomi leading us away after 1 lap. Guzman also having a great start here in P2, 6Y and Himpo. That's our opening top 4 at the moment, and it's a long way back to the next group. Urist fighting a way through against Nakes. Home soil for the Australian. He'll be trying to block away any extra attacking moves here. Rusky in P7, then it's Jaruni, and there's a top 4, and then there's a chasing 4, and the next group is just everyone else here. Priya with a great, both Priya and Kiato with great starts here. Priya up into P9, Kiato in the 10th. It's almost 3 wide into turn 11, and it was never going to go well. Goose and Matty finding a lot of trouble here, and Nake's also falling away into P8 here. It's happening all over the place. We'll go back to the front because I think Golomi has really ran away now. He's running away on those soft tyres. Himpo, with a mistake, leaves 6Y back into P2. So 6Y and Jaruni, the only drivers to start on the hard tyre. And we'll have to see just how far the hards can go. I think a hard-to-hard 2-stop strategy is definitely on the cards here. Especially compared to the soft tyres, we'll probably have to swap. But 6Y will be hoping for a bit more slip here. Himpo fighting some trouble, just getting past the Latvian driver. It's Urist and Rusky side by side. Urist with the inside into turn 3. He covers off the corner on turn 4, and it looks like he's through into P5. And Rusky is still trying to challenge though. He's got the inside into that long run through lakeside drive into turn 9 and 10. Sorry, Rusky is through back over the Bobcat. Jaruni in P7, then it's Natima next behind him. Bubbles and Priya fighting over that last spot in the top 10. Rams as well on them. He's starting on the medium tyre, so we'll have to see how far those mediums can run. It seems like a very soft dominant track in terms of everyone's strategy. Priya and Bubbles run wide, straight line through turn 3, and it allows several drivers to get through. Bubbles finding some trouble here, and he's all the way at the back. That is a terrible result for him. Oh dear. We'll go back to the front as we see a new race leader here. And Ruziman is in the lead for the Nordic Blizzard team. Gorlomi falling away a little bit, but he's still holding on to P2. He's still got a good gap on 6Y behind. He'll be hoping to improve that gap there because the hards will really start to be clawing some time over the softs in a lap or two. Himpo, though, chasing the Latvian driver for the Luso Britannica team on those soft tyres. He's trying not to make a move just yet. But 6Y is looking a bit too comfortable on those hard tyres. The softs are really starting to die away. Himpo just not able to challenge for that position yet. Urist and Rusky is still fighting away for P5. Then Staruni behind those two. Doesn't have the slipstream, but he's really hoping that this scuffling will bring him into that slipstream range. Those softs have a lot of speed down the long straights here. And of course, this track in F1 nowadays is known for having 4 DRS zones, so you can really tell just the amount of raw pace, especially on the softer tyres, you can really build along those long straights here at Albert Park. Staruni's still chasing, doesn't quite have the slipstream yet, but he does have it now. Rusky with a mistake, as we have several of the drivers heading in for our first stops here. 6Y is in the lead, because Guziman, Gorlomi, and Himpo have made stops, and there's even more stops happening further back on the field. 7 laps seems to be all that the softs can do, according to a lot of drivers. You're still running on the soft tyres though, and so is Rusky. Bubbles and Experial also running for another lap on the soft tyres. So perhaps 8 laps can be going for it. 6Y though will be comfortably in the lead now. 4.18 seconds the gap between him and everyone else as Gorlomi leads the pack away. Guziman on the hard tyres now, so he'll be hoping for an alternate strategy, maybe to give himself a last dash to the line on some fresh soft rubber. And if Guziman can take a lot of slipstream during this stint as well from Gorlomi, that'll really benefit him, because Gorlomi is on a charge here. He'll be chasing down 6Y, and the soft tyres will be absolutely helping him in that case. The gap is slowly reducing, but 6Y still, I'd say, has a lot of life left in those hard tyres as he's running now into lap 10. We see Rams pinning off the mediums onto a set of soft tyres. Himpo in P4, then it's Staruni. Urist on a fresh set in P6, just ahead of Matimar. Rams also onto a fresh set of softs. He's sitting in P8. It's Keanu and Nex fighting away for P9 here. Nex is through. Keanu's made a bit of an error there. The Australian is into P9 there. Rusky is trying to chase away. Looks like both drivers are sort of cooperating. They are on the hard tyres. Will be hoping to take some of that slipstream. It's really important for the hard drivers to take that slipstream as much as they can, given the outright pace difference on these straights here. But Keanu is still challenging because Nex is making a few mistakes here. Has the inside into turn 3. Will Nex be able to... Yeah, he uses that grip on the soft tyres here, takes back the position, but Keanu makes a move. It's not going to be favourable for him. He falls back into P10 and into Rusky's grasp, actually. Himpo taking the fastest lap of the race so far in P3, as 6Y is in after 11 laps on those hard tyres, and he is putting on another set of hards. That is an interesting strat. So you could think hard, soft for the Latvian driver. If you really wanted to stretch them, maybe 13, even 14 laps on the hard tyres could be doable, but it just seems like a bit too much. Daruni, still the only driver yet to pit. He's on a 12th lap on the hard tyre, but it's looking quite difficult for him to hold on to it. He will take the slipstream of Urus though. That will probably give him a bit of a benefit to staying out, as he holds on to P6 now, just wedged between Urist and Matimar. Let's go back to the front, because Gorlomi running away almost a full second from Himpo now, who is dragging Guziman along on those hards. That is your top 3, as we are closing in on half race distance. Hippo with a big mistake there. He's going to lose some time. Guzman back on his slipstream, and he's going to be losing a lot of time to 6Y, who's on those fresh hard tyres, and we're putting in some good laps to potentially try and chase down the drivers in front, who are going about 5/10 slower, at least the previous lap. And he's also gapping the drivers behind him as well. Urus and Matimar not able to compete on those soft tyres as much anymore. Urus does have slightly fresher than Matimar. Rams also has fresher tyres than the pole here. It's really falling away. We've got drivers heading in for a second stop already. And it's Himpo in for a third stint of the soft tyres. Is going to come out in P5. Matimar also in for some soft rubber, and so is Nakes further back. Priya and Croak following alongside as well. It's Goose and Bubbles fighting away for 13th here. Bubbles' tyres will be really worn now, but takes the position off of Goose, and Goose will be happy to take any amount of slipstream here. Gonna go back to the bottom three here. Priya, Experio, Crunk. Experio on really old softs, he'll be having to pit, but he really wants to be able to try and fight with the drivers at the back here. Going to see Urus to pit off the softs onto another set of softs, and he is in P7 now, just behind Keanu. Hopefully we'll see some car switching to really benefit Keanu's hard tyre strategy. He can go potentially one stop from here, because hards can definitely, we're reaching the position of the race here where we get to around lap 16-17. Galorbi in, and he's on for another set of softs, surprisingly. Yeah. So as we're entering lap 17 now, we're starting to enter the point of the race where some of the drivers who's really running, some of those drivers like Rams who's running those softs pretty hard, they can go for one last stop here and potentially run for the rest of the race on the hard tyre. For now though, it's 6Y ahead of Guzman, who is on significantly older hard tyres, but both drivers will be hoping to make it only one more stop. The strategy's played out quite well for them. Himpo chasing down on the soft tyres. We can see that his tyres are quite worn. It's a 3-second gap between him and the top two. Galorbi will be also hoping to make a charge here. He will be on faster rubber than those in front. Hopefully for the rest of the race, we'll have to see how 6Y and Guzman go for their final stops. They could both potentially go for mediums or even soft tyres if they run long enough, of course. And Guzman is more than happy to just stay on the slipstream. He pitted on lap 7, so this is his 12th lap on the hards. 6Y pitted on lap 11, so this is his 8th on those tyres. But it is still Himpo chasing them down. He's gained about 8/10 on that last lap, so there's every chance he can make a potential fight on this, come the last stint, of course. We're hoping if the Finn can maybe keep himself clean on the track, of course, and make that charge. Galorbi as well is making moves. He's got the pace, he's got some free air to really run on his own. We're not seeing too many super fast laps getting run here. As we just run down the order once again. It's Guzman in the lead now, challenging with 6Y. Maybe 6Y's made a mistake, but he falls right back immediately. He knows he doesn't have the grip to challenge the Latvian just yet. Those hard tyres are really, really worn. But he's holding onto the slipstream quite well. But there he goes into the pits now. And Himpo is right there, actually. He's gained so much time through that last lap. And it's Guzman into the soft tyres. So it is going to be a soft strategy for everyone here. One last pit stop. And 6Y could definitely go for the softs here, but he is losing a bunch of time. And Guzman is going to be quite deadly on that undercut as well. Could be a chance for him to take that feature race win he'd be dreaming of at this point. But it is 6Y in now, and Himpo is going to follow him right through. So both drivers in. We're going to see where Guzman is. And he's rounding the final straight here. It's going to be very tight between him and 6Y. It looks like Guzman is in the provisional lead now. Galorbi is up by 3.5 seconds, but he will have to pit again. It's the Nordic Blizzard and the Luso Britannica driver fighting away for the last 8 laps here at Albert Park. Eurus behind them. Doesn't have the slipstream though, who will need to pit relatively soon. Himpo will also be hoping that those 2 drivers in front can get into a bit of trouble and bring him into the fight as well. There we go, Eurus into the pit lane. Gorlomi's still running on the softs. And you'd think he has to pit eventually. Keanu also in P7, he'll go for the softs. Everyone pitting now will be going for one last stint on the soft tyre. I believe that Snake's in for the Heritage Performance team. Matty running in P9. And it's Rusky, Nakes, Priya, Goose, Bubbles, Nickel, Crunk. And it's Axperion running through. Gorlomi now, finally, into the pits on lap 23. It leaves Guzman and 6Y in a 2-horse race for the win now. But Himpo isn't that far back. And it looks like Guzman is just being given a bit of space here by 6Y. Can the Norwegian get the job done here? There are still 5 laps to run. Oh, he's made a huge mistake there, and 6Y right into his back. Oh no, that's going to be massive here, because it's going to only invite Himpo back into this fray. It might be a 3-way fight in just a lap's time, if any more trouble arises from our top 2 here. It is still Guzman in front, 6Y in P2, Himpo a second behind in P3. He is chasing like a rabid dog now. He is getting closer and closer, inching closer as 6Y just tucks in behind Guzman into the chicane. And looks like 6Y is through. Oh my god. He's made a mistake there. It's still challenging Guzman on the inside of the final quarter. And all of a sudden, Himpo is back in this fight. It's 3 drivers. 3 North European drivers in for this fight. It's Latvia versus Poland versus Finland versus Norway, sorry. But it is 6Y leading the way. 6Y, Guzman and Himpo. Guzman does have the older tyres of the 3. 6Y with another mistake at the exit of turn 11. These tyres aren't favouring him now. There's 3 laps to go between these 3, and Himpo's really dropped off quite a bit. Going to go back to the next group of drivers. Gorlomi running alone in 4th, and it's Eurus and Rams fighting away. Rams on the hard tyres. Eurus might be able to hold on to that P5. Then it's Keanu in 7th. Jarudi, Matsima, and Rusky is your top 10. Nakes in P11, quite a ways away from Rusky. Then it's Priya, Bubbles, Goose, Nicolo 9, Krug, and Axperial rounding out the grid. But we got to focus on this race for the race win, of course. Guzman 6Y, basically neck and neck. Penultimate lap here at Albert Park. It has been a wonderful race to spectate here. 6Y making a mistake here, but Guzman not able to respond, giving themselves quite a lot of space here as Himpo tries to challenge. 6Y has to back out of that. Himpo, Guzman, oh my god, it's a big shove there. Big charge to the chicane, but it's Guzman holding a nip here. Holding a tight line. He's going to lead us off into the final lap of the race. We see Crunk there just pitting with a few laps to go there. He'll be retiring from the race due to an unfortunate problem with his engine, but the highlight is all on the top 3 at the moment. Himpo with a bit of an error entering turn 4. That'll let 6Y back into P2. It's Guzman's race here to lose. He's going to hold on to the inside as they go through Lakeside Drive for the last time. 6Y getting shoved off to the outside onto the chicane there. It's Guzman still. Himpo makes a charge into turn 11. No, he's got the inside. 6Y is going neck and neck. It's a big fight, and Himpo gets the win there. Guzman in 2nd, 6Y getting shoved onto the final corner there. He'll take 3rd and not win for the first time this season. Gorlomi in 4th, and it's Eurus, Rams, Keanu, Jarudi in P8. Matima makes a mistake there, and Rusky was going to get through into P9 right at the death. Oh, wow. Disaster there for Matima in P10 there. Nakes in 11th, followed by Priya in P12. We've got our last few drivers just rounding the grid here. Bubbles finishing in 13th, and it's Goose, Nickel 09 in 15th place, followed by Axperial, who will be the last of our drivers to finish for today. But there we are. Final standings, we have our top 3 separated by less than a second. It's Himpo leading us away from Guzman and 6Y on that podium. What a brilliant fight to round out a quite lovely event here today. Golomi will finish in P4, good result for the VPT group. Then it's Urist in 5th, Rams, followed by Kiato, Jaruni, Rusky, and Matimar. Himpo will also be taking the fastest lap point as well, so it's a great result for the VEO team, and great result for Himpo with his first CL win. Rusky and Matimar will round out the top 10, followed by Nakes 11th on his race in his debut. Good result for him, especially at home. Priya in 12th, and it's Bubbles, Game on Goose, Nicolo9, Axperial, and Mr. Crunk are sole retirement from that race. What a brilliant little race that was. A lot of different strategies playing in part. And Himpo, with that 3-stop, was able to take the chocolates today. That is all, though, for now. We are done with Challenger League in Australia for once again. And for round 4 next week, we'll be heading back to Italia, heading to the Cremona circuit. So a brand new, relatively new course compared to the old staples we usually end up going to in the Italian countryside. So we'll have to see how that plays out next time out. Thanks for watching.